Buddy Son Storytime.
The Tiny Seed by Eric Carle. It is autumn. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the others. Will it be able to keep up with the others? And where are they all going? One of the seeds flies higher than the others. Up, up it goes. It flies too high and the sun's hot rays burn it up. But the tiny seed sails on with the others. Another seed lands on a tall and icy mountain. The ice never melts, and the seed cannot grow. The rest of the seeds fly on, but the tiny seed does not go as fast as the others. Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and drowns. The others sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. One seed drifts down onto the desert. It is hot and dry, and the seed cannot grow. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with the others. Finally, the wind stops and the seeds fall gently down on the ground. A bird comes by and eats one seed. The tiny seed is not eaten. It is so small, the bird does not see it. Now it is winter. After their long trip, the seeds settle down. They look just as if they are going to sleep in the earth. Snow falls and covers them like a soft white blanket. A hungry mouse that also lives in the ground eats a seed for his lunch. But the tiny seed lies very still and the mouse does not see it. Now it is spring. After a few months, the snow has melted. It is really spring. Birds fly by. The sun shines. Rain falls. The seeds grow so round and full they start to burst open a little. Now they are not seeds anymore. They are plants. First, they send roots down into the earth. Then, their little stems and leaves begin to grow up toward the sun and air. There is another plant that grows much faster than the new little plants. It is a big fat weed. And it takes all the sunlight and the rain away from one of the small new plants, and that little plant dies. The tiny seed hasn't begun to grow yet. It will be too late. Hurry! But finally, it too starts to grow into a plant. The warm weather also brings the children out to play. They too have been waiting for the sun and springtime. One child doesn't see the plants as he runs along and oh, he breaks one. Now it cannot grow anymore. The tiny plant that grew from the tiny seed is growing fast, but its neighbor grows even faster. Before the tiny plant has 3 leaves, the other plant has 7. And look, a bud! And now even a flower. But what is happening? First there are footsteps. Then a shadow looms over them. Then a hand reaches down and breaks off the flower. A boy has picked the flower to give to a friend.
Nice!
It is summer. Now the tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. It grows on and on. It doesn't stop. The sun shines on it and the rain waters it. It has many leaves. It grows taller and taller. It is taller than the people. It is taller than the trees. It is taller than the houses. And now a flower grows on it. People come from far and near to look at this flower. It is the tallest flower they have ever seen. It is a giant flower.
Wow!
All summer long, the birds and bees and butterflies come visiting. They have never seen such a big and beautiful flower. It is autumn again. The days grow shorter, the nights grow cooler, and the wind carries yellow and red leaves past the flower. Some petals drop from the giant flower, and they sail along with the bright leaves over the land and down to the ground. The wind blows harder. The flower has lost almost all of its petals. It sways and bends away from the wind, but the wind grows stronger and shakes the flower. Once more, the wind shakes the flower, and this time the flower's seed pod opens. Out come many tiny seeds that quickly sail far away on the wind. The end. Pancakes, Pancakes by Eric Carle. Kiki-wiki! Crowed the rooster. Jack woke up, looked out the window and thought, I'd like to have a big pancake for breakfast. Jack's mother was already up and busy. Mother, Jack said, I'd like to have a big pancake for breakfast.
I am busy and you will have to help me,
she said. How can I help? Asked Jack.
We'll need some flour,
she replied.
Take a sickle and cut as much wheat as the donkey can carry. Then take it to the mill. The miller will grind it into flour.
When Jack had cut enough wheat, he put it on the donkey's back and took it to the miller. Can you grind this wheat for me? He asked. I need it for a big pancake. First, we must separate the grain from the chaff, said the miller. He gave Jack a flail and spread the wheat onto the ground. The miller took another flail and began to beat the wheat with it. Jack helped with the threshing, and soon there was a big pile of straw and chaff, and a small pile of grain. The miller poured the grain on a large flat stone. On top of it was a round millstone connected to the water wheel on the outside. The water wheel turned round and round, turning the millstone round and round too, to grind the grain into flour. At last, the miller handed Jack a bag of flour. Here's the flour, shouted Jack. Let's make a pancake. But his mother said,
Now we need an egg.
Jack went to the black hen and fed her some grain that had slipped into his pocket while he had been threshing. Cluck cluck, said the black hen and went inside the hen house. Then she said, cluck cluck, once more and laid an egg. Here's an egg, shouted Jack. Let's make a pancake. But his mother said,
Now we need some milk.
Jack went to the spotted cow and began to milk her. Moo, moo, said the spotted cow as the milk squirted into the pail. Here's the milk, shouted Jack. Let's make a pancake. But his mother said,
We need some butter.
Jack got out the butter churn and held it between his knees. His mother scooped the cream from the top of the milk and put it into the butter churn. Jack pushed the churn handle up and down, up and down. Finally, the cream turned into butter. Here's the butter, shouted Jack. Let's make a pancake. But his mother said,
We need to build a fire.
Jack went to the woodshed and brought some firewood. Here's the firewood, shouted Jack. Let's make a pancake. But his mother said,
Wouldn't you like to have something sweet on your pancake?
So Jack went down to the cool cellar and pulled a jar of strawberry jam from one of the shelves. Here's the strawberry jam, shouted Jack. Let's make a pancake. In the kitchen, Jack's mother had filled the table with the flour, the egg, the milk, the butter. There was also a mixing bowl, a cup, a wooden spoon, a ladle, a frying pan, a plate, a knife, fork, and spoon, and a jar of strawberry jam. And his mother said,
Put a cupful of flour into the bowl. Break an egg into the flour and stir. Pour a cupful of milk over the flour and eggs and stir again until the batter is smooth and without lumps.
Jack's mother heated the frying pan over the fire and added a piece of butter. The butter melted fast. Then she said to Jack,
Now pour a ladleful of batter into the hot pan.
After a minute or two, she looked at the underside of the pancake. It was golden brown.
Now watch,
She said.
I'll turn the pancake over. Ready?
Ready! Shouted Jack.
Flip!
Said the mother. Up and over went the pancake high into the air and landed right in the pan. In another minute or two, the pancake was crisp on the underside as well. Then she slipped the pancake from the frying pan onto the plate and spread some strawberry jam on it.
And now, Jack.
His mother started to say, but Jack said, "Oh, Mama, I know what to do now." The end. Walter the Baker by Eric Carle. Long ago, in a town encircled by a wall, lived Walter the Baker, his wife Anna, and their son, Walter Jr. Walter the Baker was known even outside the walls of the town. He was the best baker in the whole duchy. Early every morning, while everybody else was still asleep, Walter began baking his breads, rolls, cookies, tarts, and pies. Anna sold the baked goods in the store. No one could resist the warm, sweet smells drifting from Walter's bakery. People came from near and far. The Duke and Duchess, who ruled over the duchy, loved Walter's sweet rolls. Every morning, Walter Jr. carried a basket full of warm, sweet rolls to the castle where they lived. Said the Duchess, spreading quince jelly on her roll. Ah, said the Duke, putting honey on his. And so each day was the same as the day before, until one early morning, when Walter's cat was chasing a mouse and tipped over the can of milk. "What will I do?" cried Walter. "I cannot make sweet rolls without fresh milk." In desperation, Walter grabbed a pitcher of water. "I hope nobody will notice the difference," he said as he poured the water into the flour to make the dough. Now, you and I may not be able to tell the difference between a roll made with water and one made with milk, but the Duke, and especially the Duchess, could tell the difference. Cried the Duchess after she took a bite. "What is this?" roared the Duke. "Where is Walter the Baker? Bring him here at once." So Walter was brought before the Duke. "What do you call this?" roared the Duke. "This is not a roll, this is a stone." And with that, he threw it at Walter's feet. I used water instead of milk," Walter admitted, hanging his head in shame. "Pack your things and leave this town and my duchy forever," shouted the Duke. "I never want to see you again." "My Duke," pleaded Walter, This is my home. Where will I go? Please give me one more chance, please. I must banish you, said the Duke. But then he remembered Walter's good rolls and how much he and the Duchess would miss them. Well, Walter, the Duke started to say. Then he thought, and thought some more. You may stay if you can invent a roll through which the rising sun can shine 3 times. And to make it more difficult, he added, it must be made from 1 piece of dough, and most of all, it must taste good. Now go home and bring me such a roll tomorrow morning. Poor Walter! Worried and sad, he trudged back to his bakery. Walter worked all day and into the night. He made long rolls, short rolls, round rolls, twisted rolls. He made thin rolls, and he made fat rolls. And he worked some more. Walter beat, pulled, pushed, and pounded the dough. But it was all in vain. He could not come up with a roll that would please the Duke. By early morning, Walter had only 1 long piece of dough left. It's hopeless, he cried. In a sudden fit of anger, he grabbed the last piece of dough and flung it against the ceiling. Stick there! He yelled at the dough, but it didn't. It fell, twisting itself as it dropped down and plopped into a pail of water. Anna and Walter Jr. were awakened by Walter's yell and rushed into the bakery just as Walter was about to dump out the water and the twisted piece of dough.
Father, stop!
Shouted Walter Jr.
Look!
And Anna quickly popped the dough into the hot oven. Soon it was brown and crisp. She took out the roll and handed it to Walter. It hadn't risen very high, but it had 3 holes. Walter put the roll into a basket and rushed to the castle to deliver his invention to the Duke and Duchess. And they too saw the morning sun shine through it 3 times. Then the Duke and Duchess each took a small bite. Walter was afraid to look because he had no idea how it would taste. Well done, said the Duke.
Perfect!
Exclaimed the Duchess. Both were glad that Walter would not have to be sent away. And Walter too was happy that he could stay. Now, pray tell us, Walter, what do you call this? Asked the Duke. Yes, pray us tell, Walter stammered as he tried to come up with a name. What was that? Pretzel? Said the Duke. Pretzel it shall be. From now on, he declared, it shall be sweet rolls in the morning.
And pretzels in the afternoon,
said the Duchess. Walter returned to his bakery and spent all day and night making pretzels. The next morning, there were baskets of pretzels outside the store for the whole town to taste, and a special basket of pretzels for the Duke and Duchess, and a cheer went up for Walter the Pretzel Maker. The end. Papa, please get the moon for me, by Eric Carle. Before Monica went to bed, she looked out of her window and saw the moon. The moon looked so near. I wish I could play with the moon, thought Monica and reached for it. But no matter how much she stretched, she could not touch the moon. Papa, said Monica to her father, please get the moon for me. Papa got a very long ladder. He carried the very long ladder towards a very high mountain. Then Papa put the very long ladder on top of the very high mountain. Up and up and up he climbed. Finally, Papa got to the moon. "My daughter Monica would like to play with you," said Papa, "but you are much too big." "Every night I get a little smaller," said the moon. "When I am just the right size, you can take me with you." And indeed, the moon got smaller and smaller. And smaller. When the moon was just the right size, Papa took it. Down and down and down he climbed. "Here," said Papa to Monica, "I have the moon for you." Monica jumped and danced with the moon. She hugged the moon and threw it into the air. But the moon kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And finally, it disappeared altogether. Then one night, Monica saw a thin sliver of the moon reappear. Each night, the moon grew. And grew. And grew. The end.
Please subscribe.